Okay, hello everyone. Today's going to be the demonstration of the inking of a new linocut plate that I've been working on this week. It's going to be used for a book that I'm hoping to release in November, sequel to the one I released last week. I've got no idea it's going to turn out. I've merely carved the plate, so if you fancy seeing how that turns out, stick around and I'll be with you in a minute. Okay, hello, welcome back. Yes, so before I begin, let's put a few timestamps on because I'm going to ramble a little bit as usual. So if you fancy beginning where I start talking about the sketching that led to the final design, skip ahead to here. If you want to cut to the demonstration itself, cut to here. Otherwise, stick around and prepare for some rambling. Okay, first of all, a big thank you to everyone who bought a copy of my book last week. It was really nice of you. Thank you very much. I got, I don't know how many copies it was altogether. It's hard to read the display of, you've got to count it up yourself. So, but it was really good. And a lot of people got the print copies as well. And I've been having a few photographs sent back of the copies themselves. So, and they all look really good. So I'm really happy about that. So yeah, thanks very much. I hope you enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, it'd be great if you could put a review on Amazon. That would be really good, really helpful for me. Otherwise, I've been a little bit low this week, and it's for a couple of reasons, really. I suppose the first thing is it's the end of a project that I've been working on, as I've said, for 5 years. And for it to suddenly come to an end, or that part of it, felt a bit, I don't know, an anticlimax in a way. But I'm trying to focus now on the second book, and that's certainly helping. This week's been good, just focusing on this new linocut. The other problem, of course, is the fact that the book, having been released last week, has now disappeared into the depths of Amazon's sea of millions of copies of books. I mean, I knew what to expect in a way, and yet you have this kind of delusion that as soon as you've put your book there, it's going to magically become a bestseller. Of course, that's never going to happen. I liken it to, like, if you're on the beach and you have a pebble, and if you throw it hard enough and you put enough spin on it, that stone will keep skipping across the top, and it will stay visible. And that's what I hoped would happen to my book. You know, I put enough energy into it at the beginning. Hopefully it will stick around on the top and people will see it before it sinks down. But unfortunately, this stone, I threw it and it just went straight down. So I love writing, I love drawing and painting, and I love making this book and the series that it will be. I mean, I absolutely love it, but the publishing side of it, promotion, I've got no interest in whatsoever. So that is a big problem. And that's another reason why I'm a bit down about it, really, because I realise that if it's going to have the chance of any kind of success, I'm going to have to really try. But what I've decided to do is I'll postpone that for the time being, focus on the second book, get that out, and then I'll do what I can to promote them together. Now, part of that's going to involve spending money on advertising, so I'm going to have to wait until I've started my new job, because I've run out of money now. And the other side, of course, is using social media and all of that, and in a way, what I'm doing here with YouTube. is promoting the book. But so far, I mean, I've been doing this now for 3 months, and I've been on Instagram and various things months before that. But for me, it doesn't seem to work. And I see other authors, and when they're plugging a book, they'll plug it like hell. I mean, I can almost every day showing the book somewhere, surrounded by nice objects, or on a beach or whatever. I've got no interest whatsoever in doing that, and I feel kind of uncomfortable even promoting it once or twice. So that, I guess I'm going to have to get past that. But at the same time, I don't really want to be shoving this in people's faces all the time. So I'm going to have to see how that goes. Anyway, doom and gloom over. Let's move on. Right, so welcome back if anyone skipped across. Here we go. So this, first of all, I'll talk about how I've come up with the final design that I'm going to show you in a minute, and went into the carving itself. So it began with just a little thumbnail drawing I did in my journal. It just came to me and I thought, right, let's just draw this little thing here. So it's a bottle, like a potion bottle. And that's because the second book, a certain amount of it is set underground in the darkness. And so the Gelders, rather than carrying lanterns around, they have these little bottles that have a glowing plant in them, functioning as a light. So I wanted to depict that, really. So I thought that would be a nice image for the title page. So there, that was the first tiny little sketch. After that, where's my sketchbook? I started to then work it up a bit better in slightly more detail. First one I did was this one here, which is, I tried using like a pen and ink, using a dip, what do you call it? A dipping pen into ink. Didn't go very well. It's a bit of a mess. But that was, yeah, I decided to abandon using pen and ink. Next one, again, well, I used, I don't know, permanent marker or something. Again, just playing around with trying to get that feeling of the plant glowing and there being darkness in the background. So this is just, I just made this plant up. It looks a bit odd. It looks more like a jellyfish or something. So yeah, that wasn't any good. This one here, a few more other ideas. I was looking at some like potion bottles, image sources, and how they might carry them. So using this kind of twine that's wrapped around the bottle. And a few other little shapes. I really like that kind of bulbous design, so I'm going for that. Next page. So here I'm looking at the border. So I like to have a border on the edge of the lino cut. But because this one is predominantly black, I had to think about the page that it would be on is white. So I had to have an adequate transition between the dark plate and the white page. So I couldn't just have a white kind of border. I inserted the white border within the dark plate. So it will be a smoother transition from the image to the page. It's explained there. Okay, so this is my first kind of stab at a bit more of a detailed drawing. Again, I'm sketching just from my imagination at this point. So that plant is a bit odd. And again, it looks like an alien or something, so it doesn't look enough like a plant. So I decided not to go with that version. Okay, so this is the plant. I thought I'd focus on the plant a bit more. And this time I actually got some, I found an image online of a plant that looked quite similar to the one that I had in my head. It's a succulent plant, It doesn't glow, and I've altered it slightly. So here's the image that I've taken it from, and this is the drawing. As you can see, I've altered it only slightly, but it looks more like a plant, but a very odd looking plant. Okay, this is the last sketch I did here. A bit more detail, and I was looking more at the cord that's wrapped around the neck of the bottle and trying to work out how that would look, or how I would achieve that look in a linocut where you're only dealing with black and white, or the monochrome colors. Yeah, and playing around with the kind of reflections on the bottle itself. So I was fairly happy with that at that point. So then I was going to draw it full scale to the size it would be on the plate, but I take so long working around these things, I thought, right, let's just take that last sketch, blow it up on Photoshop, print it out, and then I've done another drawing on top of that expanded one. So this drawing, this is the one I came up with here. So it's more or less the same, but I've refined it, and I've made the plant a bit more symmetrical. I've added a little bit to it, and I've changed little bits to it, but it's more or less the same. And I've worked this cord a bit more to make it pop. Okay, so on the back of that we've got some carbon paper, and so that's what I then use to transfer it onto the plate itself. So here's an image of the transferred. That's after I've drawn over the image through the carbon paper onto the plate. Then I went back over it with a pen and blocked in the areas I want to retain. So everything that's black stays, including the area around the design, and all the white will be carved away. So compared to the last one, there's far less carving to do. So here's the carved version. That's what it looks like carved. Okay, so I've got the actual plate here. I might as well just show you that. So here it is. There's the finished one. It's hard to see the fact that it's carved unless yeah, it's difficult. Anyway, take my word for it, that's been carved out. It was a little bit tricky. This area here particularly, trying to get those shapes lifted out of this material with the little cutters I use was quite a challenge. And around here with these very thin lines and on the water. Again, like I've said before, one tiny mistake and the whole thing's ruined. So luckily nothing went wrong. And after the practice I had with the previous linocut, I found this a lot easier to do. Okay, so now we've got the plate. By the way, I did it on the reverse of this one. So that's the one I did last time. So I merely stuck another lino strip to the other end of the block and just reused the block. Saves buying another one. Right, so here we go. I'm going to cut here and set it all up, and we'll see how it prints. Okay, see you on the other side. Okay, here we go. So first of all, I've got this ink here, water-based one. I've just added, I've mixed red, well, it's more or less black really, but I wanted a tiny bit of red in it this time. Just using a palette knife to mix it together. I mean, that's as good as damn it black really, but anyway. Okay, so with that mixed up, it's a water-based one, so it's very easy to clean off. Here's my roller, and let's get a bit of that going. So we ink up. I've seen other people doing this on sheets of Perspex or glass. A lot easier to clean up, I imagine, but the thing is with this, I've got this kind of old wooden desk and it kind of picks up the grain a bit, so I quite like that effect. So So here we go. Let's put this here, see it a bit better. There we go. Okay, so let's get this plate inked up. Try and get it as thin as possible to begin with, so it doesn't go in all the little nooks and crannies. It's going to need a little bit more on that. There we go. Going on brilliantly. Maybe I haven't got enough. I mean, the good thing about these is you can, I think it's the same with the oil-based ones, but you can mix and match. You can get kind of gradients as well if you mix them. I mean, this will create a kind of marbled effect, but I'm not really too bothered about this first one. That's nice. Okay, let's get that on. Yeah, this is taking a lot of ink. That's the thing with a brand new plate. It's going to take a little bit to. Doesn't seem to take the ink as well to begin with, for whatever reason. I might be imagining it. I don't know. I've had this problem before. It takes a little bit more effort. You can start seeing the design popping out now. How it will look. Not sure yet. Obviously on the page this is going to be a black image, but on the first printing you very rarely, well, I very rarely get it right at the beginning. It takes a little bit to get it how you want it. You always miss little details, or you find there's areas where it needs to go a bit deeper. Already looking at it now, I can see some possible issues in the water here. It's kind of gone in there a bit more than I wanted. Get the pencils, get this out a little bit. There we go. That'll do. Okay, there's the first. Let's see how it goes. Right, get a bit of paper. So I've got this my sketchbook here, just to, so it's at the same level as the plate itself, so it makes it easier to lay the paper on it. There we go. Let it drop down, and here's my Baron, which is just a spoon, and we use that. Well, I'm going to use that now to press the paper into the plate. You can see it materializing beneath. You may not be able to see on there. A lot of other people use presses, but I haven't got one of those. And I quite like doing it by hand, really. It feels more, I don't know, that you're closer to it in some way. It's a physical thing. Get a bit. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I don't know how consistent this is. Trouble is, compared to the last one, which was more of an outline, this is more got very large areas of dark. So I'm not sure how this technique is going to come through. You may not be consistent. Yeah, once the paper's on the plate, you can more or less, you don't really have to touch the paper, it just stays there. You haven't got to worry about it moving around. Right, I think that's more or less it. That'll do. Probably ain't gonna be perfect, but right. Moment of truth. Let's have a look. Too bad. Here it is. Got a bit of reflection there. Let's get this out of the way. Yeah, as you can see, it hasn't taken up some areas here where it hasn't taken the ink up properly, but as an image, I think it's not too bad, really. Not too bad. Yeah, this has come out well. Yeah. Okay, right. I'll stop here and I'll come back and say goodbye and all that. Okay, hello, welcome back. Yeah, so I decided to do one more print after I finished recording. It's slightly better. So here we go. This is what it finally looks like. I did a bit more red used a bit more of the red ink in this one. And I'm pretty pleased with how it's turned out. I am going to have to recut a little bit, I think. So with the water here, where the light's reflecting off the water, these lines need to be made slightly deeper because I've got a bit of ink pooling in there. And I think I want to carry those lines a bit closer to the edge of the bottle as well, both ways, I think. Yeah, a little bit more. Otherwise, I think it's fairly okay. Maybe some of the lines around the plant maybe need to be made a bit thinner. Otherwise, I think it's all right. The detailing in the cord there, that's good. It turned out better than I thought. And yeah, generally not too bad, I guess. Yes, so last time I did a competition so what I'll do is I'll recut it, get it looking better, and if you would like it, leave a comment below. Last time my brother won it, so but yeah, if you enter, you'll probably win. Let's put it that way. But we'll see. So yeah, leave a comment, whatever you want to put. And next week I'll stick all the names in a hat, or my big beer steiner, and we will pick a winner. Right, I better leave it there. This has gone on quite long. Right, I'll see you next week. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing next week for the video, but yeah, maybe no, I don't know. Okay, right, so cheerio.